Meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Calling a meeting to order. Attendance, please.
Supervisor Holdridge,
Here.
Councilmember Andisana,
Here.
Councilmember Courtney,
Here.
Councilmember Dysinger,
Here.
Councilmember Becker is absent.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have Brian from TETS for public comment.
Same here, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So my name's Brian Heinley. I work for ETETS and Sons. I have since 2007. Recently, the company was sold and bought by a bigger company called Peckham Industries. One of the things that they're really mindful about is being involved in the community. So this is one of the things I have to do, and I'll probably be here a couple other board meetings, just in case there's any issues or you have somebody to contact or anything like that. I just want to say I'm the manager of the TETS plant here in Chester. If there's anything we can do to help the community out as far as donating or I know you were talking about holiday parades before that the TETS used to be really involved in, that we would really like to help out in any way we can.
We could take a few $1 million for a budget,
Yeah.
but you said donating, so.
Brian, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I've noticed lately a lot of clouds of dust coming from the crusher.
Okay.
So are you using water on those crushers?
We certainly are, yes.
But it produces a lot of dust.
We'll definitely
And I know that the village has been complaining about dust for a while.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if it reaches the village or not, but, I just want to know, are you using water? Because I noticed today I was sitting out on my deck. I can sort of oversee I'm across the valley. I can see that, the quarry. I just happen to notice a lot of dust. And so that's why I'm asking the question, are you using water?
Yes, 100%.
But I don't know. I'm not sure if the dust is from the crusher or from something else, but it does produce quite a bit of dust. So if you could do something to try to minimize that, that would be great.
And would you like my cards? And
Sure.
If you got any complaints or issues or like. This
Just a
doesn't work
comment.
right,
I'm just asking, thank you, Brian. I'm just asking if there's something you can do to maybe
Yeah.
reduce that dust, that would be great.
That's exactly why I'm here.
Okay, great.
Just to be one with everybody, I guess.
All righty.
Also
That's
have
fine.
a question.
Yeah.
Usually we get a phone call when they're about to blast.
Yeah.
Within an hour of that. I've had recently a couple of complaints from residents saying, what is that happening in town?
Okay.
When we weren't notified, so if maybe you can just
I know,
bring that back.
I believe that, yeah, we do notify. We've only blasted once so far, or twice so far this year.
It could be the Aiden plant quarry as well, possibly.
But we do have a list,
I didn't
and
know
if
how
there's anyone that
active
wants to be added
Yeah.
to it, we could definitely do that.
Yeah, usually they call my office and then I alert the police department, the highway, the building
Yeah.
department, so that everyone's aware in case there is a
We,
concern.
we could probably put it out on that new alert system too, if it's happening.
Yeah,
So
of course. I mean, one day the whole building shook, but, Larry's saying that it may come from the other quarry. So
Yeah,
I'm
we-
just
we've
mentioning
only-
it in the event.
We've only blasted twice this year, but
Okay.
I'm not
thank
saying
you.
it wasn't us, but
Yeah.
we do have a list, and if there's anyone that's not on it or you want to be added to it, we can definitely do that.
Well, I
It's
should
been a
be
while.
on it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead,
No,
Linda.
I just wanted to say I should be on that list.
Yeah.
as the
Okay.
town clerk.
Yeah, I do believe the town is on it. There's the neighbors, I believe the police department, village police department is on it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've only I've only felt a couple times when you blast it, because afterwards I can see the dust cloud after the
Yeah,
blast.
usually that doesn't make dust, unfortunately.
Well, I know that's part of what happens. I understand.
Like I said, if there's anything we can do for the community or if there's any issues, don't be afraid to reach out. If anybody else wants my card, I do have more of them.
I'll take
Yes, please.
More of them.
All right, so you give it to,
But I do have a QR code if you want to scan that.
no, we can.
I'll send this out.
The cemetery.
Yeah. Thank you.
But Brian, thank you for stopping in, and we appreciate the cooperation.
I'll just hang out, I guess. See
You know-
what's
Okay.
going on in the community.
Thank you. Any other public comment tonight?
I have one public comment. Stop the Newell House County resist Trump's agenda.
Got it. All right, any other public comment? All right, is there a motion to accept the 5/28 meeting minutes?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The town will be paying bills in the amount of $334,574.23 in this last abstract. Everybody got their reports here from
Yep.
the comptroller?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Right, reports. I'll start. We are working towards finalizing our plans for winter tarps and seed for the Chester Commons field. These were both budgeted for. We're hoping to stay within or close to budget. The overseeding of the field is going to do wonders for the quality of the grass there, which of course we know a lot of our native teams use. And of course the winter tarps are exactly what they sound like. They are giant tarps that you put down on the grass in the areas that you'd like to overwinter, and it helps the grass grow. So we're hopefully going to be making some appropriations on that soon. We got an offer from, I just want to highlight, and I believe we have mostly agreed to this, from Joe McKiernan, who is helping us to get new park rule signs, which we ordered, and they're on their way. So those should be installed sometime in July. He has now offered to pro bono restore a bunch of the signs around town, not the park rules signs. We're talking like the town hall sign, the Knapp's View sign, the Commons Park sign, various different signs around town that are kind of old and dilapidated. And I just wanted to thank him for offering that. It's a huge community service to take that on and to offer to cover the costs of all of it. All we have to do is just basically deliver the signs to him for the work to be done. So thank you to Joe.
Yeah.
And then finally, we got a notification from the Orange County Water Authority. The Orange County Water Authority, with the support of the Orange County legislature, set aside funds to once again offer municipal water supply leak detection services. The board of directors reviewed your application to survey 15 miles of your water distribution system at no cost to you. We are pleased to confirm that your application has been approved. Through a competitive process, the board of directors awarded a contract to Upstate Leak Detection LLC of Hastings, New York, to perform this work in 2025 on our behalf. Their staff will be contacting you in the coming weeks. So I wanted to thank the Orange County Water Authority and the Orange County legislator for awarding us this very good service. I think this will be very beneficial to our water supply throughout town and help us detect anything that's going wrong and allow our water department to do a better job. So thank you to them. Besides that, that is it for me. Let's start with Tony.
I'm good. Wolf's quiet.
Okay, Bob.
I'm the same. I'm quiet.
Okay, Larry.
All right, I got to say something. All right.
You don't have to. It's voluntary.
We saved the best for last tonight, Larry.
That must be it. Brendan, is there anything new on the lighting, Chester Commons?
So we have, I didn't give a report on that because I don't have definitive information. I might have it tomorrow, but according to the school has been very gracious to go out and test it with our engineer and our park staff, Kristen mostly. We are thinking that if there are two options ahead of us that will not require us to spend any more additional money than what has already been allocated, which is a huge relief, obviously. I know there was contention between spending more money and not spending more money on it. The two options ahead of us will either be to remove some of the headlights off of the poles. So instead of 8 per pole, you'll have 6 or 7 per pole. And that should be the trick that will allow us to get away with a 200 amp service with enough buffer to not trip it. So that is one scenario. And then our engineer is semi-confident that that might not even be, he had spoken to his electrician, they're doing some calculations, and he is semi-confident that that might not even be necessary, and the 200 amp service with all the headlights on there should be sufficient to not trip the system. So we are continuing to look into it. I will keep the board and the public updated on whether or not, you know, any more money is going to be necessary, or if any of these other options should work. But they're all fairly confident that what the Rotolo and O&R were saying about needing more service is not necessarily true.
The distributor who we bought the lights from, the woman contacted, she got back to me and gave me a name of someone at the manufacturer so I could ask some questions. But every name that I've gotten, when I call, I always get the answering machine and the mailbox is full. So far I have not spoken to anyone there. It's like, I don't understand, but I'm continuing to try, see if I can get some more information from the manufacturer. We still have 2 open positions in the planning board. I certainly hope we can come to closure on that shortly. So
The planning board chair, or interim chair, I guess, did say that their hope is to have 2 more recommendations to us after their July meeting, so we can wrap that up.
right, okay, that'd be great. Okay. The land that we're donating to the school system, I know we're still trying to reconcile it, with engineering and stuff. I just want to clarify for my sake and maybe the public, our only obligation for engineering for that is to just do a survey to clean up the title, and that's it. No other additional engineering. Is that correct?
In terms of, we're not doing any design work for the project or anything like that. John Queenan is preparing the map necessary for the subdivision. I have recommended, once we have the map, that the town and the school district enter what's called a memorandum of understanding with respect to how we're finalizing this, so everybody understands who's responsible for what.
Right.
But again, for their proposed project, they're entirely responsible for that.
Right. So it's on them to do topo maps and everything else.
I believe that's in Lincoln Tully's proposal to them. They'll have to pay them to do the
Right,
additional
yes,
work.
right.
But again, that would be laid out in the subject. Essentially, we had a meeting with them 2-3 weeks ago now, maybe a little earlier than that. And we essentially laid out, and we said, let's get to the baseline survey, which is essentially the boundary line survey, as well as the location of, I believe there's 3 wells on that site. There was a question of where the wells were.
Right.
Because their preliminary design was sort of a best guess. And once they have that more solid information, the wells are here, they can decide if they can move the project. If the project shimmies slightly, it makes life a lot easier. If it has to shimmy the other way, it makes life a lot harder. So
Right. Okay.
Once we get that preliminary survey, we can have another discussion. And again, I've recommended that this all be laid out in a memorandum of understanding approved by both the school district's board as well as this board.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're not
No.
spending a lot of money on engineering. It's only just to be able, so we can convey title.
Yes.
Brandon, where do we stand as far as with the Sugarloaf sidewalks? When is that project going to start? Do you know offhand?
I spoke to John Queenan. It's supposed to start in July. I can get you a date.
Because weren't we trying to shoot for end of June, beginning of July to get going on that project?
Yeah,
I
we were
thought-
shooting for June until July, but now with setbacks, it's July into August.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, plus we also have to.
The week of July 7th. I'm sorry.
So another week.
Yeah.
Okay, it's only a week or so. Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully the weather permitting and all that, we'll
Right.
be able to get that off the ground.
And if we could just, put it on our list of things to do to make sure we address, who's going to maintain those sidewalks. We
Yes.
still need to do that. So,
Still on the list.
Yeah,
After
just-
comp plan.
no, I understand. I just want to make sure we don't forget about that.
Nope,
So,
it's on my list.
so Liz, are we still, based on your latest schedule, are we still on track for that, for the comp plan? And
As of right now, assuming I have no further interruptions.
Brandon, don't interrupt her anymore.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Any comments on any of the reports?
No.
All right. We have a resolution. So as all you should know, we are awaiting, Liz is working out kinks with the contract for this, but I don't think that should stop us from just appropriating this small amount to cover what's going to be necessary for the program. Michelle, what?
You can appropriate subjects to approval of contract as
Yeah.
formed by the attorney. So
Okay.
you don't need to wait for that to.
Michelle, is there anything that you want to explain out of this, or is it pretty straightforward?
No, it's pretty straightforward, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And just one question that was raised, the budget will be done on a yearly basis. So this will be through the end of 2025, and then even 2025 will be submitted for 2026.
So
Okay. Are there any questions for Michelle on this?
No, I'd just like to thank her for all of her efforts on this. I think she did a great job.
the only comment I would make, Michelle, is just make sure when you were building the budget this year, we put that in.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
Yep, welcome.
All right. Is there a motion to pass this appropriation subject to approval of the contract and review from the attorney?
Motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, introductory local law, battery storage moratorium extension. So we are going to need a small extension to carry us through the end of the comprehensive plan, which we hope to have finished in October. So Liz, do you want to take that away?
Sure. Resolution to introduce introductory local law 9 of 2025, a local law to extend the temporary land use moratorium prohibiting large-scale battery energy storage system installations within the town of Chester, established by local law 8 of 2024 by 6 months. Whereas the town board of the town of Chester recognizes that battery energy storage system installations are being developed throughout the Hudson Valley. And whereas the town board desires to put a temporary halt in such development to allow the town of Chester, its comprehensive plan committee, and its consultants to develop and implement adequate regulations for the siting and operation of such facilities in the interest of the residents' health, safety, and welfare. And whereas the town board adopted a temporary moratorium on large-scale battery energy storage systems through the adoption of local law 8 of 2024, which went into effect on August 23rd, 2024. And whereas since that time, the town board has developed a draft local law to regulate large-scale battery energy storage systems and anticipates introducing said local law in the summer of 2025. And whereas the town board desires to briefly extend the moratorium to allow the required environmental review and public comment to take place with an anticipated action in the fall of 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that introductory local law 9 of 2025, a local law to extend the temporary land use moratorium prohibiting large-scale battery energy storage system installations within the town of Chester, established by local law 8 of 2024 by 6 months, is hereby introduced before the town board of the town of Chester. Be it further resolved that a copy of the aforesaid introductory local law be laid upon the desk of each member of the board. And be it further resolved that after comparing the thresholds in 6 NYCRR 617.4 and 617.5, the board determines that the proposed action is a type 2 action for purposes of seeker and that no further environmental review is required. Be it further resolved that a public hearing shall be held on July 23rd, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. or as soon thereafter as may be heard at Town of Chester Town Hall, 1786 Kings Highway, Chester, New York 10918. The town clerk shall cause public notice to be published in the official newspaper as is required by law. Be it further resolved that the introductory local law be referred to the Orange County Department of Planning and the Town of Chester Planning Board.
All right, any comments or questions on this?
No,
All right, is there a motion to introduce the local law and set the public hearing for July
23rd.
23rd?
motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, hopefully we can put the handbook to rest for a long while. We just have some minor tweaks to take care of some issues with work hour and longevity, specifically for some employees who were recently hired, the most recent employees. Anybody hired after the dates in the handbook that's stated in these sections of 501 and 5701 won't have the same benefits as the most recently hired employees who are affected by the employee handbook. But it's very minor changes to just to make sure everybody's in line with the contracts that we signed and the offer letters that we signed with the most recent hires. So are there any questions or comments on this?
Oh, good.
No, I'm good with it. This is what, 2 weeks ago, this is what I was really referring to, but
Yes.
yeah. But it's, no, I have no issues with this. I think we're good.
Very good. Is there a motion to accept the amendments, the proposed amendments to the employee handbook in sections 501 and 701?
Motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Is there a motion to head into executive session for personnel followed by attorney-client privilege right after?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Michelle, before you put that on, there should be no new business after this. So if you would like to stick around for public comment, please feel free to do so, but there will be no new business.
control this air conditioning. So tonight, this is gonna be like this all night.
Okay.
Okay, well, that needs to stop.
I'm muted.
You're the supervisor, they will not talk to me.
Can you remind?
Today was the best day.
Yes,
Sorry now.
we are.
All right. Is there a motion to come out of executive session and attorney-client privilege?
Motion.
I'll second.
All right. We do have one new business that I didn't foresee coming, so I apologize, but it's here on the recording. It's just what I talked about earlier with the donation for the work for the restored signs. We just need to properly accept that. So is there a motion to accept the donation, record it, and let's say authorize the work to be done on the signs by Joe McKiernan?
Motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any other new business?
No.
See?
Nope.
Oh, public comment?
I have one public comment from Edward Mullins. What a bonanza for the Chester School District. A gift of land from the taxpayers who pay taxes to Warwick and Monroe Woodbury. All the while, Warwick Valley and Monroe Woodbury School District taxpayers bearing the brunt of lighting upgrades the Chester School District use while being taxed by our own school district for the upgrades to their athletic fields. Warwick School District taxpayers are still paying for 2 libraries.
No one is getting taxed for the upgrades to the lighting. That's not coming from tax dollars. It's coming from our Parkland Fund, which is not paid for by taxpayers. All right. Any other public comment? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.